You've heard of unconditional love, but have you heard of the secret to unconditional happiness and allowing more into your life? More wealth, more success, and more love. More freedom in your life right now. Welcome to the Happy Bar with Israel Savage.
We look at emotion as wanted and unwanted, as opposed to seeing all emotion as guidance. And what I mean by that is any unpleasant feeling, say fear or anger or frustration, is really just a disagreement between you and you. Let me say more about that. In other words, there is a physical you that moves through the world, that is constantly exploring and coming across things that you want and things that you don't want. And when you come across something that you don't want, it clarifies what you do want. But at the same time, there is a non-physical greater you that has always been and will always be. In fact, only a small part of you is physically focused, and you are always able to access the flow of knowledge, of insight that comes from your greater non-physical you. One of the ways that you do this is by staying in touch, in tune with your emotions. Your emotions are like a positioning device, like a GPS. Let's call this your emotional guidance system. And so when you experience something and you have a thought about that person, place, or thing that is not in agreement with the greater you. So when the physical you thinks a thought that is not in alignment and agreement with the greater you, you experience tension, the tension that comes with a disagreement. And what your emotions, these unpleasant emotions, are telling you is that you want to think a better feeling thought. And as you think a better and better feeling thought, you begin to line up with the greater you. Now, why is this important? Every time you come across something that you don't want and you clarify what you do want, in this, let's just call it a wellspring, in this wellspring, in this non-physical vibrational reality, it is stored every single desire that has ever been clarified. In fact, by the time you are able to verbalize, that a desire is conscious enough for you to verbalize, there is such clarity that exists in the non-physical, in this wellspring about what you want, that simultaneously hundreds and hundreds of paths to get you from where you are to that desire have been fully laid out, waiting for you to realize them. But the only way that you can realize these thoughts, these ideas, these feelings, which are the breadcrumbs that lead you down the path to your desire, is by lining up with them. There are no bad feelings or bad emotions. There are emotions that feel more pleasant than others. All of your emotions are working towards your own good. They're working toward helping you fulfill your desires, every single one of your desires. These emotions are helping you find alignment with every desire that you have ever had. And all you have to do is use and utilize these emotions that you are feeling to guide you along the path. You know, we spend an infinitesimal part of our lives actually experiencing the achievement of a goal. The majority of our lives we spend working toward, or moving toward, or moving in the direction, or creating a pathway, or realizing a pathway toward our goals. If we make a decision to live conditionally so that I can only be happy, I can only be joyful, I can only feel fulfilled when I achieve, insert a goal, then there will be mere minutes in our entire lifespan when we actually will feel those feelings. And if you've ever noticed, because we are expansive beings, because just like the universe expands, we are expanding in our desires. We can't help but do that. The second you achieve one goal, moments later, there's more that you want, because that goal is not the goal. It leads you to the next desire. And this life is all about reaching for this desire, the next desire, which uncovers the next desire. And we bump up against things we don't want as we clarify what the next desire is. And so truly, my only goal in life is happiness. How can I, as I move along this journey, enjoy the process of creation? Enjoy the journey. It sounds cliche, but there's so much truth in that. The majority of your life is the journey. Enjoy it. Line up with it, because it's in that happiness. It's in that enjoyment. It's in that sense of play and discovery. And I wonder what if. I wonder what will happen next. It's lining up with those emotions when our desires start to slot themselves right into our experience. But remember, every emotion that we feel is a sign that our guidance system is working. And let's embrace that. Let's notice what we don't want so that we can pivot and focus on what we do want. And the law of attraction states, what we focus on, we make more of. If it feels better to say law of momentum or insert the type of law that feels better for you, then we start to allow more and more good feeling people, places, things, thoughts into our lives. And that's a momentum that builds and builds and builds and builds upon itself. We're always looking for the better feeling and the better feeling thought. Doesn't mean that you're always happy. You don't want that. Because if you're always happy, you're not reaching beyond yourself. You're not out there discovering and expanding and coming up against what you don't want so that you can clarify what you do want. But we do want to only notice the things that we don't want so that we can put most of our focus on what we do want. And that is the process of creation. That is the journey that we go on throughout our life as we go from desire to desire to desire to more and more and more.
If you liked what you just heard, then take inspired action now. That's right, act while you are feeling good. And build on your momentum. Schedule your free discovery call with me at instudios-nyc.com/happybar.